We hear it all the time, right? The big financial milestones. I want to hit $100,000 or I'm aiming for my first million. And those are absolutely incredible goals. I celebrate them, I've reached them myself, and I can tell you they are life-changing. My main portfolio recently hit an all-time high of around 1.3 million, and that feels pretty good. But here's something most people don't talk about, and something that I've learned firsthand with countless friends, community members, and even in my own journey. The most significant financial milestone isn't $100,000. It's not even $50,000. It's your first $10,000. I know that might sound surprising. $10,000, that's not even gonna buy you a mansion or let you retire early, right? But what I've learned, what I've seen, and what I know from personal experience is that the second you save your first $10,000, everything really changes. Your confidence shifts, your mindset transforms, new opportunities start to appear, and your ability to build real wealth accelerates in ways you can barely imagine. It's pretty much the point where your money stops controlling you and you start controlling your money. So today, I'm going to break down 7 powerful reasons why hitting that first $10,000 is the ultimate game changer on your path to financial freedom. The first reason your first $10,000 is so powerful is that it completely breaks a massive mental wall. I feel like for many of us, especially if we didn't grow up with much, the idea of having 5 figures in a bank account that's $10,000 or more feels pretty impossible. When I first started taking my finances seriously, I was only thinking in hundreds, maybe thousands. 10,000 never really crossed my mind. But once you see your bank account hit that 5-digit mark, it's proof. It's concrete evidence that you've done something different, something significant. It signals that you've built strong financial habits and you have the discipline to follow through. Okay, so think about it. A lot of people struggle with saving. According to a CNBC article, 63% of Americans can't even cover a $500 emergency expense. 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. So if you're able to save your way to $10,000, especially accounting for your daily expenses, you absolutely deserve a pat on the back. You're already ahead of most people. For me, back when I was a public school teacher, the initial wins, no matter how small, gave me a massive boost. That feeling of, oh man, I can do this, is pretty contagious, and it lays the foundation for future success. It transforms how you perceive money, shifting your identity from someone who struggles with money to someone who masters it. This self-belief creates an unstoppable momentum for bigger milestones, whether that's $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000. It's not just the numbers on a screen, it's a symbol of your capability. 2, it creates a solid emergency fund and safety net. This one is incredibly practical and frankly, life-changing. Your first $10,000 provides a substantial buffer between you and most of life's unexpected financial emergencies. You can kind of think of it as your financial self-insurance policy. You basically hope you never really need it, but when life throws a curveball, it can save you from financial disaster. And for me, I know this all too well. Just last year, I had a flat tire, I had pipe bursts in my home, and unexpected vet visits for my dogs. I recently took Mandy, my 15-year-old Maltipoo, to the vet a couple of days ago, and she had to pull out all of her teeth. And the bill came out to be around $1,000, $1,500. I feel like for most people, these unexpected things always pop up. If I didn't have a safety net, those expenses could have caused me a lot of stress, or even worse, led me to go into debt or sell investments at a bad time. So here's the thing, the most surprise expenses are usually actually less than $1,000, and even the larger ones typically don't exceed $2,000 or even $3,000. In my own experience, my largest unexpected costs are usually between $1,000, sometimes even $1,500. Though it's pretty painful to see, having $10,000 in your emergency fund means that you're covered for pretty much 99% of these situations. In my Financial Freedom Faster ebook, I always talk about building a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in a high-yield savings account. If your monthly expenses are around, I don't know, say $2,000, then $6,000 to around $12,000 is your target range. And with $10,000, you're pretty much on your way to a robust 3 to 6 month safety net, providing you peace of mind. You don't have to worry about debt or panic selling investments when unforeseen costs arise because you have cash for backup. 3, it unlocks your first real investment opportunities. Now, this is really where a lot of the magic really happens. Before you have $10,000, your investment choices might feel pretty limited. Putting $50 or $100 into investments is of course a good start, but the returns might not feel impactful right away. Once you hit $10,000, you can start making meaningful moves. You can fully fund your Roth IRA for the year or make significant contributions to a taxable brokerage account. This milestone accelerates the power of compound interest, which Albert Einstein calls the eighth wonder of the world. It's when your money starts making money and that money makes even more money. It's kind of like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger over time. So let me illustrate this with a hypothetical example, similar to how I often explain it. If you consistently invest, say, $1,000 a year, achieving a modest 7% average return, it might take you roughly 7.5 years to reach your first $10,000. Okay, but here's where it gets super cool. Reaching your next $10,000 from, $10,000 to $20,000 won't take another 7.5 years. It could take significantly less, maybe around 4.7 years. This is because your initial $10,000 is actively generating interest for you. Basically, the momentum builds and each subsequent $10,000 becomes faster to accumulate. In my beginner investing classes, I always recommend keeping it simple and buying low-cost index funds. For me, I like S&P 500 funds like VOO, SPY, or SPLG. With this, you're basically investing the top 500 US companies at once, which diversifies your portfolio and reduces risk compared to picking individual stocks. With $10,000, you have the capital to invest in full shares of these funds and not just fractional ones, which creates a powerful psychological shift. You're now seeing your money actively working for you. If you're someone who wants to start with investing but you don't know where or how to start, you can always join my beginner's investing class. I'll share with you how I started as a teacher and how I diversified my portfolio. I'll leave the link in the description. 4. It cultivates strong financial discipline and positive habits. You see, people don't just stumble into $10,000. Reaching this milestone signifies that you've adopted some serious financial discipline and built strong money habits. You've moved beyond just thinking about saving. Now you've actually done it. And this is huge because building wealth is all about consistent action and developing positive habits. I always make videos emphasizing that wealth is intentional, not accidental. You have to have a plan. This means budgeting and tracking your spending, knowing exactly where your money goes. I always recommend using a budgeting app or using my free money cheat sheet on my website. This awareness is step 1 to becoming ruthless with your money. You've likely started cooking more meals at home, cutting down on impulse purchases, and canceling unused subscriptions, things I still do as a millionaire. You see, this process of actively saving $10,000 forces you to make conscious decisions about your money, not just react to it. It shifts from a scarcity mindset where you constantly worry about not having enough to an abundance mindset where you see money as a tool for growth and believe that's enough to go around. This isn't about deprivation, it's about empowerment. By sacrificing some short-term gratification, you're investing in a bigger prize, long-term financial security and freedom. 5. It gives you more freedom and opportunities. So when you have your first $10,000 saved, your financial decisions begin to shift from, can I afford this, to, do I actually want to do this? I know, this might sound kind of subtle, but it's a profound change. For those living paycheck to paycheck, decisions are often driven by necessity and fear. They might feel obligated to take an extra shift or stick with a job they dislike simply because they can't afford not to. But with a $10,000 cushion, you basically gain breathing room. You can now negotiate better, take more calculated risk, or pursue opportunities that truly align with your long-term goals. I feel like it gives you the power to say no to things that you don't want to do and yes to experiences that add real value to your life without the guilt of financial strain. So for example, if you're like me and you enjoy learning, you could invest in courses or programs that build marketable skills like digital marketing, sales, or even AI implementation. These are skills that make you more valuable in the marketplace, leading to, of course, bigger paychecks. This financial freedom also allows you to make smarter choices. So instead of always opting for the cheapest item, you start looking for the best value. You might also invest in higher quality items that last longer or healthier food options that give you more energy. This subtle shift in thinking demonstrates that you're now using money as a tool, not being limited by it. 6. It drastically speeds up your savings rate. You see, before you hit that $10,000 mark, much of your savings might feel like you're playing catch up, constantly trying to pay off your bills, tackle debts, and just stay afloat. But once you've caught up financially, that money you would have used to stay afloat can now be directed towards getting ahead. This is where your savings rate truly starts to accelerate. You can think of it kind of like a snowball effect, but for your savings. And once you have that initial foundation, every additional dollar saved has a greater impact. The mental burden of being behind is lifted, freeing up energy and resources to focus on aggressive saving and investing. Remember, my mission is to help people achieve financial freedom with simple, actionable steps. So I always talk about living below your means and consistently saving. For me, that meant cooking pretty much like all my meals at home, meal prepping chicken and potatoes and rice, and even driving my modest Honda Accord for over 13 years. And believe it or not, I lived with roommates well into my 30s to keep my expenses low. You see, once you have these habits established, it allows you to dramatically increase your savings rate once you hit that initial $10,000 buffer. Now, you're not just trying to make it month to month, you're actually proactively building wealth. 7. It significantly reduces financial anxiety and makes life easier. This is perhaps one of the most underrated benefits of saving your first $10,000. You see, most people live in constant states of low-level financial stress whether they realize it or not. They might hesitate before making even small purchases or worry about unexpected costs, feeling constantly one bad week away from falling behind. But when you reach $10,000, I feel like something profound happens. That background noise of financial anxiety starts to fade. You stop stressing about every little expense and you no longer feel paralyzed by unexpected costs. This, in my opinion, is one of the biggest emotional shifts in personal finance. You gain a sense of peace of mind knowing that you're not just scraping by. This shift allows you to think more clearly and operate from a position of power when it comes to your money. It marks the transition from just surviving to truly beginning to feel comfortable. You won't have the same worries and struggles as those who are barely making ends meet. And I truly believe that the sacrifices that you make to reach that $10,000 milestone ultimately leads to a much easier and less stressful future. And if you're ready to take action and start investing, I would watch this video here.